I'm so excited to share a case study with you of one of my students who used many components of the specific person secret to get incredible results in his life. In this video, we're going to put aside all theory, and I'm going to take you behind the scenes so you can hear directly from John, who is one of my recent students, to find out exactly what he did to manifest his specific person. So to give you an intro, John's wife of many years left him and basically stopped talking to him. As you can imagine, this was incredibly devastating for him. She didn't want anything to do with him. She wasn't taking him back until something really changed. He started implementing some of these tools that I've been teaching you to manifest a specific person. And despite the circumstances, John was able to manifest her back and now has a better relationship than ever with her. So I'm going to let John tell you in his own words exactly what he did. You're not going to want to miss our interview, which is coming right up. But before I jump in with John, I just want to recap that in the last 4 videos, we covered a ton of groundwork. I showed you how you can quickly get started with this specific person secret, and I walked you through my entire blueprint. In case you haven't watched the first 4 videos yet, make sure you catch up on them because I've been giving away so much valuable information, and some of it is more new and more valuable, I would say, than what you could get in a lot of paid courses. So like I said, in this video, we're going to do something completely different. I've never done this before. You're going to see and hear from John in his own words exactly what he did to turn this situation around and manifest his specific person back into his life, even after it felt like there was no hope for them. John used some of the crucial components of the specific person secret and what I'll be teaching in depth in my Manifest a Specific Person master course. So you don't want to miss the gems that he has in this interview. With that, let's dive into my interview with John.
Hey everyone, I'm so happy you're here with me, and I'm with my new friend John, and he is someone who has used my teachings and my work to manifest his specific person. He has a beautiful story. I've heard bits and pieces of it, but I'm really excited to jump in with him today and hear the deeper intricacies of what he actually did to manifest his specific person. So thank you for being here, John.
Thank you.
Yeah, so nice to have you. And the place I want to start with you is just who were you when you started this journey of manifesting your specific person? And in particular, what was going wrong for you in the relationship? Yeah, we can start there.
Sure. Yeah, my wife and I had been married for 18 years. And, we had troubles like anybody else off and on. And earlier that year, she decided to leave. And so that kind of threw my life into a tailspin, just devastated. We had been together since high school, and so it kind of I lost confidence. I was having anxiety and worry and just couldn't function in my job and my business. So it was just definitely a very hard time going through that.
Like hitting a bottom, I imagine. I can imagine your whole world would be turned upside down after an experience like that.
Yeah, it definitely was. I mean, I saw it in my health and just everything. I was just completely lost and trying to find some way to, get her back or do something, but I couldn't figure out what to do. Everything I did was pushing her farther away instead of bringing her closer.
What types of things were you doing that were pushing her away initially?
Well, I think just pursuing her. I was trying to buy her gifts, tell her I would change, tell her I'd be different. We didn't have any major infidelity problems. It was just a lack of trust in some areas with finances and things like that. And so I'd be open, and I was just anything that I could think of to try and show that I would be there for her. I was doing, and it just kept making her farther and farther away from.
Yeah, when you say that, the thing that I feel, and maybe you can tell me if this is true, I feel a little bit of like a begging her to be with you in that. Yeah, that's what it felt like. Like there's some desperation there for you.
Yeah, it definitely was. I was really desperate to have her back, and I didn't know how could my life be good, without her, and what was going to happen with my kids, how were they going to react to this, and all those types of things. So right. It was definitely a very desperate, hard time.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I so hear you and feel that. And so what did you do? Where did the change start to come in? Like what techniques did you start to do, or where did you start to learn a new way of approaching this situation?
So it started out for me, I found a marriage program online,
Mm-hmm.
and it kind of introduced the idea of manifesting. And so it was okay. It did, a lot of good for me there to um, find out the idea. I'd heard of The Secret and I'd heard of Law of Attraction, but none of that ever worked. Nothing
Mm-hmm.
was, I couldn't seem to keep it focused or do anything to make that happen. And so this program, we wrote something called Tiny Stories and Love Movies. And the idea was to, envision what our future would be like with the person. And as a friend of mine in that group turned me on to your channel, and that's where things really started changing for me and really coming faster for me was when I was using your techniques to go forward.
Oh my gosh, that's so beautiful to hear. And what specifically worked for you? Like, what did you start to do? What started to land and change for you in terms of my techniques?
So I did a lot of imagining the end.
Mm-hmm.
I was so focused before on the in between things and what was going to happen, how I was going to get there, how she was going to come back, all those types of things. And I heard in one of the videos about the end result, just
Mm-hmm.
picturing the end of what you wanted and what it was going to be, and not and kind of embodying that I already had it.
Yeah.
I think that was the biggest thing for me, was just trusting that all the things in the middle were just part of the path to get me to the end. And so I actually wrote out a story of the ending and what it would be like and what we were going to be together. Uh, and just that's how it started happening for me.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing. And how were you able to actually embody the feeling of the end? Was it feelings and thoughts and a whole body experience? What was your process to be able to do that?
Yeah, so my feelings and thought process, I imagined um, just sharing with someone else that this had already happened. So as
Ah,
I kind of played out a scene in my mind that this had already happened, that it's amazing how just a few months ago we weren't together, and now all of a sudden we're doing so well. And so I felt the feelings of doing well and feeling good together, and what that was going to be like to be on vacation together. And so doing that is really what helped me to stay in the end and not think about all the problems in between.
oh my gosh, this is so great to hear. I love hearing it. And so how did you start to change in this process? Did you see changes in yourself?
Yeah, I had a lot of big changes really. My anxiety went away
Mm-hmm.
because I wasn't so focused on the process. I think, before I was trying to figure out each little step. And so if something went backwards or if something was negative, I'd react to it, because she didn't have any of these positive feelings that I was having yet. And so when I was going through this, I would just, anytime something negative happened, I just reminded myself, no, that's not the end. This is just part of the process I need to go through to get to the end.
That's
Uh,
so
so it
amazing.
just kind of wiped out my anxiety and fear and all the worries of all that process, and just was easy to feel better then.
So you were able to trust, okay, wait, no, trust and kind of flip anything bad that came towards you that was not the end result. You were able to flip it into, no, wait, that's not the truth. There's a real end, and I know that real end is going to happen. And I'm just going to stay focused in that space of that real end result.
Yes, yeah, exactly. That was a big thing for me because there was a lot of things that happened in the middle,
Yeah.
and just knowing that those were part of the journey, they were moving me to the right spot, was okay because
Right.
I knew the right spot was coming. So
Oh,
I didn't get hurt or upset if something little happened in the middle.
it sounds like you were able to like really have faith in the process and really trust that by embodying the belief that this was going to happen with your wife, that this end result that you knew and wanted, you believed in it on some level, and you were able to just keep persisting in that end result, in that what you wanted. Is this true?
Yeah, yeah. I
Yeah.
didn't worry so much about the timing of everything. I think that was a big thing that really helped. Is I didn't think, okay, I have to be back together by this date or this event.
Yeah.
I just knew that eventually it would get there in the right timing. And in the meantime, I was being able to develop myself and be better for myself. So I wasn't so worried about everything in between. It was just part of the growing process.
Oh my gosh, this is so beautiful to hear. And so what ended up happening with her? Like, how did she start to shift and change? Tell me about that.
Well, I noticed that, she started doing things because all the time at kids stuff. We were, I was at the house every day taking the kids to school and things like that. So I noticed just little things. She would start to save me a spot at my daughter's theater event, or, she would make me an extra portion of dinner and stuff that she just wasn't doing at all. She seemed to be a lot more talkative when we were there. She wasn't avoiding me. And I just kept going on with my life and being happy with what I was doing. I didn't put a lot of emphasis on that. I just was noticing the things. And then finally, towards the end of our separation, she had called and said, I really want to talk more about us being back together and what that would look like. So that was kind of the journey of getting there, was just seeing her starting to do little things, coming back to me rather than me going to her and pursuing her.
Oh my gosh. And so part of what allowed you to do that was building your own self-confidence. It sounds like you said you changed, and then also it sounds like you stopped chasing her. These two things sound really important.
I think my change, I was finally proud of myself. I worked a lot on myself, and I didn't need her love anymore. I just loved myself. I loved what I was doing. I loved my life. And I didn't need her to be in my life to make it happen. I wanted her back, but it wasn't a necessity.
Yes.
And then when I started pursuing my life and really going after my own goals and doing my own things, she started coming towards me. I improved the way I dressed. I improved the way I felt. And it was like it was a magnetic force drawing her back to me. It was really great.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, you're touching on all the key points of what I teach when it comes to manifesting a specific person. It's like self-love is so important. No longer being in that state of desperation that chases after them. You get to kind of hold back and just be you, build yourself up. And then you are also calmly confident in the end result. And you just continued to believe in that end result. And wow, your results are so beautiful. And also I'm noticing just the ease. I'm sure there was not ease the entire time. I'm sure you really had to do some shifts. I mean, what was the time period of this whole experience?
We were separated 3 months before I found out anything about manifesting.
Yeah.
And then from the time I found out about manifesting, it was only 2 months.
Oh yeah.
But it was, it seemed like it was so long the first 3 months, and just to see the shift from pain to feeling good to, now creating everything in my life. I didn't stop with just that. I want to create my whole life rather than just let things happen. So.
Oh my gosh. Well, I'm so happy to hear your story, and I know it's going to uplift a lot of people and help people really see like a real live case of how it's done. And I'm just, I'm so happy for you. And it sounds like you're continuing this process. Like your self-love isn't stopping now that she's come back. Your goals and wanting to improve yourself and be the person you want to be hasn't stopped. And I'm sure that creates a better relationship for the two of you.
Yes. No, my self-confidence and my self-esteem has allowed her to be a totally different person. She's free to be herself. She's free to love me the way she wants to. And I create that as well. I have little love movies and love stories that I tell of how she's going to be with me and how we are together. And it's completely changed and just opened up our relationship. It's been over 2 years now, and it's totally different than it ever was. So.
Oh my gosh, that's so beautiful. Yeah, when we when we land in our own self-confidence, we can give our partners more space to really be them. And that's where love really starts to flow, when we're not trying to manipulate or control them out of our own fear. Yeah. So it sounds like you really, really learned that.
Yeah, I had a lot of, when I look back, I had a lot of control issues with, I was my insecurities. And
Yes.
so by me not having those insecurities anymore, it allows me to, um, be open for her and allow her to be who she is. And that's been great for our relationship.
Oh my gosh, totally. Well, thank you so much, John, for sharing pieces of your story. It's really inspirational, and it's just it's beautiful how you really integrated all the main pieces of, the core pieces of this work to manifest our specific person. You really did, and you got really beautiful results, and I'm happy that you're continuing to get those results. And thank you so much for sharing your story with us.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you for having me.
You're so welcome. Okay, bye-bye.
Wasn't that so good? Wasn't it so inspiring? I really loved how John really covered a ton of the components that he did to manifest his specific person back and the crucial steps that changed the situation with his specific person. I felt so good and so uplifted and so inspired after that interview, and I hope that you are feeling that way too. So the thing is, John followed many of the exact steps and processes that I take my students through in my Manifest a Specific Person master course, which is launching in a few days. And as much as I would love to help everyone, I can only accept a small number of new students right now while still maintaining the level of support that's needed to provide the results that you want. So this is genuinely a rare opportunity, and spots are going to be granted on a first come, first served basis. What I can tell you is that this is literally the best program I have ever created by far. And I wouldn't be surprised if it sells out in a few hours. So keep your eyes open and jump on board as soon as the registration opens. In the next video, I'm going to be giving you some specific instructions that you can follow to make sure you get a spot in the program. I'm also going to share more information about my Manifest a Specific Person master course and how it's different from other things you've seen before. All that being said, thank you so much for watching this video, and I'm going to see you in the next one. Bye-bye.